Is it fun? I think the G30 is a little bit more fun. Drive mode selector, something as simple as dynamic as that. Yeah, why couldn't they just... I would say the biggest threat is not the E-Class. Its biggest threat are the ones in the... The BMW 5 Series have always been a very important product within BMW's lineup of cars and within its history. The 5 Series is a step up from the 3 Series, offering better space, comfort for business use, yet maintains that fun, dynamic driving handling behind the wheel. And everybody, if you ask a BMW fan, they will all have their own personal favorite generation of the 5 Series. Some the E39, the E60. My personal favorite is the G30, the previous generation one. I think that offers a fantastic balance between driving dynamics, interior plushness, as well as technology. Come the latest generation G60 5 Series, specifically in this 530i M Sport trim, it's bigger, wider, heavier, more powerful than the previous generation 5 Series. But is it any better? Let's find out. My name's Adrian, I'm all about the details, and you're watching cDrive. The G60 5 Series BMW Malaysia offers it in 3 different flavors, from the 520i, 530i M Sport, and this currently the range-topping 530i M Sport. And it goes head-to-head with the Mercedes-Benz W214 E-Class. However, in the E-Class, it does not come with an E300 variant anymore. That's replaced by an E350e plug-in hybrid. So yeah, this one right here is the top dog 5 Series you can get right now. The G60 now has a longer footprint, measuring 2,995mm in wheelbase, almost touching the 3-meter mark. Now this offers better pliancy and comfort on long-distance drives. However, this new generation of the 5 Series has its curb weight increased by almost 200 kilograms compared to its predecessor. Now will that affect its driving handling? We'll find out later. I think the G60 is best viewed from the rear view angle. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. I think the front is a little bit too young for this Luxo barge profile. Now, BMW Malaysia has chosen not to option the 530i M Sport with the shadow line, so you get all the window trims, the grille, all in this kind of aluminium finish. I think with the shadow line, it will just elevate that sportiness of this 5 Series. It is an M Sport anyway. Despite its larger footprint, boot space has actually shrunk by 10 liters, down to 520 liters compared to the G30. However, you get a very deep loading area, not as wide, but very deep. So you are able to very easily fit in this check-in luggage, as well as a carry-on luggage right here, with more space to spare. The G60 has the automatic door unlock function. As you approach the car, even when you arrive to the rear doors, it will automatically pop up. So you can easily open the doors for your Laupan to get into the rear seats. At night, there's actually a welcome lighting mat that projects from the puddle lights. I think that's quite cool. Stepping inside, although this cabin architecture is completely new compared to the G30, this is very sort of a modern EV-like, as well as the newer generations of BMW's interior. You get the wide screen, you get this BMW interactive panel. What it does is that you have a panel of displays here. They're all touch sensitive for your lighting controls, your door locks, memory seats, climate control. Everything is all right here. I think it looks quite cool because it also integrates the ambient lighting within this sort of diamond-like pattern. But immediately you're seated here, you get a very familiar feeling of it's a BMW. Yeah, you're seated nice and low, fantastic forward, outward visibility, and the way you grip the steering wheel, this seating posture, this seating angle is just spot on. Yeah, this is how you know that you are in a BMW. The center screen right here takes a bit of time getting used to navigate, to figure out where all the controls and buttons are. However, you get some familiar touches. For example, the wireless Apple CarPlay connectivity once you go up into the BMW homepage, where you see all the information about your cars, as well as the gesture control for some basic functions of the infotainment. But something that you use every day and you want to switch between the different driving information over on the driver's instrument cluster, you may get confused at first. It's actually, you have to get used to first pressing the settings button, then you're able to navigate and switch between the information that you want to show and display. So yeah, this one takes a little bit time to getting used to, because previously in previous BMWs, it's just a trip button where you can press toggle between the different information. Yeah, so now you have to do it via the buttons on the steering wheel. Now over here, all these are haptic feedback buttons for your navigation, the iDrive controls. I think it's good that BMW has retained this sort of a physical shortcut keys to access your multimedia, your car's settings and whatnot. However, something that I find it quite bizarre is that my modes, this is actually the drive mode selector. So it switches between expressive, relax, digital art, silent, efficient, sport and personal. Yeah, personal is basically normal mode, but the rest of it is just, to me, it feels a little bit too gimmicky. And something about this My Modes button is that once you press, you're not able to toggle the different drive modes via the button right here immediately. So once you press here, you bring up the menu screen, you still have to operate via the touchscreen. I'm like, hey, come on, it's a BMW. Drive mode selector, something as simple, as dynamic as that. Yeah, why couldn't they just... But to me, the cabin ambience in here really is elevated via this ambient lighting panel here, how they have integrated very nicely. I think this just creates such an occasion at night especially, because the ambient lighting even extends over way to the storage spaces over on the lower door cuts. Yeah, there's actually still lights coming up from there. Storage spaces, again, it's quite limited. Yeah, the center armrest tunnel here is actually quite a shallow space. There's where you place your phones and cup holders, but the side door bins fits a large size water bottle. So yeah, that gets a thumbs up from me. Seated on the passenger seat is actually quite a snug place, although still very comfortable. To open up the glove box is a push of a button. Now, charging options for your devices, there's a wireless charging tray, 2 USB Type-C ports. Alternatively, you can run a Type-C cable from the rear. Now, however, spaces in here are actually quite limited, especially for ladies to place your stuff over to the center, handbags and whatnot, and even to the side door bins to place your phone. Yeah, just barely. And the vanity mirror comes with LED soft lighting. Despite having a longer wheelbase compared to its predecessor, space in the rear seats of the latest G60 doesn't feel any more spacious. I think it's partially due to the large seats at the front, the raised center tunnel. Yeah, it just feels a tad bit tight here. I have the front seat adjusted to my usual driving position. I'm 175 cm tall. I have about 2.5 picoballs worth of knee room. So yeah, because of the raised center floor, I don't recommend having 3 adults abreast back here. Charging ports, 2 here. You also get additional ones over to the rear seats. I think this one is for the rear seat infotainment option, which Malaysia cars don't get from the factory. I think the touch panel for the climate control, individual for both left and right, it's quite cool. Center armrest, 2 cup holders. Although the back seats are quite supportive, but I'm unable to recline the rear seats, and thus leaving me quite an upright seating position. The air vents, I also have the B-pillar air vents as well as side sun blinds, yeah, to keep myself shaded. But despite all that, because the rear door cuts fits a large size water bottle, the rear seats of the G60 still gets a thumbs up from me. Now, parents with infants would be happy to know that the outer 2 seats comes with isofix mounting points to safely secure your little one when you're on the move.
I'll stick my head out the window, I'll fly wherever the wind blows.
Starting off in the new 5 Series, immediately you notice is how creamy, smooth and refined the powertrain is. So in the G30, The engine is already fantastic, fabulous, smooth, responsive, but this one just takes it up to another level with the 48-volt mild hybrid system that just irons out that kind of sort of roughness when you're just dabbing on the throttle pedal. What I'm feeling right now here is just wow, incredibly linear power delivery. I mean, and the engine is very smooth. Yes, and this is exactly what they wanted to achieve in the new 5 Series, giving a more effortless as well as seamless power delivery, so the passengers and bosses at the rear seats won't feel that you're accelerating unless you do this. Woo! 258 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque. With the ZF 8-speed, fantastic. This is just the holy grail of 2-litre turbos. Suspension damping in town despite the large M Sport alloys, because this M Sport variant comes with BMW's adaptive suspension, so which is able to adjust the damping ratios to absorb the undulations a lot better. Yeah, this ride quality is befitting of a 5 Series. Just irons out all the undulations, especially these kind of sharp bumps and joints. Yeah, you feel nothing. But you're still getting that very meaty feel from the steering. Although, this one has this center marking cut out, but it's not painted in red. I wonder why. Although if you have been very familiar with the 5 Series platforms, the previous generations ones, you will feel the G60's weight. Even at 30 kilometers per hour, a turn of the steering wheel, you feel the weight of the car. This one, it's a heavy thing. It's still responsive, it's still sharp, but it lacks that finesse that the previous G30 had. This one, it's very progressive. It does not have that kind of eagerness or light-footedness of the G30. But the extra weight is appreciated once you're just gunning down the highway like this. You get that sense of, it's not just sure-footedness, but that kind of weightiness. That car is being anchored down on the highway and it just tracks in a straight line, even on all these mild corners. You're getting a very confident ride. And previously, the G30 had a little bit of a softer damping. But this one, with the adaptive suspension, they've gotten it just right. I think the weight, the longer wheelbase, yeah, as you're just coasting down, even all the creases onto the road, it's a very pleasant way it moves. Wow. This one, on the Autobahn, I would imagine, would be such an effortless drive. And clearly, BMW has positioned this to be less athletic and more of an executive vehicle to ferry up your bosses, the family. So this one has a lot more of a mature character when you're traveling on the highway. So if you're just driving in town, you won't really appreciate the 5 Series in those kind of short test drives. You won't appreciate the G60s, what they have improved upon. It's only when you take it out onto the highway, you give it a few kilometers, get it up to speed. Yeah, this is where you truly appreciate how this car is built. And once you're down into a corner, is it fun? I think the G30 is a little bit more fun, but this gives you that kind of confident luxury, that kind of sure-footedness. You're just very easy driving the new 5 Series. Objectively, the G60 is better than the G30 in every metric in terms of the driving dynamics, comfort, features, technology, all of that. But it does not match up to the G30s in terms of the duality. I think that the character of the G30 just balances being a comfort sedan as well as a dynamic handling monster that had a lot more character compared to this one. I think BMW has made the G60 to be a lot more potent, a lot more comfortable, a lot more stable when you're driving out on highway. If you ask me between the G60 5 Series or the W214 E-Class, I would say the biggest threat is not the E-Class. Its biggest threat are the ones in the X3, X5, the large, tall SUVs from BMW, from its own stable. Would you be picking this one or an SUV if you're looking for comfort? Those SUVs offers a lot more space, a lot more practicality, and better comfort overall, since you don't want something that handles too dynamically. So the next time you're out comparing the best premium executive sedan money can buy, make sure you remember all the intricate details of the 5 Series from my video and see how the others stacks up against BMW's latest premium executive sedan. My name is Adrian, thanks for watching cDrive, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more detailed videos like this. Bye bye.